Hello, my name is Jim, and this is your Daily Brogue for August 27th, 2021. Let's go this way. Alright, so I did not expect to get myself into quite as much trouble as I ended up getting myself into right there, talking about proto-science. I just wanted to give a example for something that really is science, that is biology, not really having the authority to shut people up, right? And that mainly goes with the idea that biology does not have the authority to tell you how you should use words, right? So you might say, I have heard that, let's see, life. Okay, that would have been better later. Strength. Let's see if I can get through here. This is a good place to make a stand. Don't know if I'll survive. I made it. Okay. So the intention had not been to insult all of biology, and I hope that's not how it came out, but I am going to say that taxonomy, as useful as it is, has no authority to try to modify the language, right? And that's not a hit on biology. I called it proto-science, taxonomy, and taxonomy is proto-scientific, right? Taxonomy is not a scientific thing. It's what you do before you have science, right? It's operational, right? These operational definitions are the things that we start off with while we're trying to build up a real scientific theory. And there's nothing wrong with it. You have to start that way. You cannot start with the correct definition. You have to start with a definition that's more or less based on how you measure, right? That's what an operational definition is how you measure things. Okay. Let's see, Firebolt 3, Healing 2, no good. Mechanic slowness. There we are. Obviously, there are all sorts of other parts of biology as well, so saying that one part is not as advanced as another part of science is probably or at least it should not be too wonderful. Awful a thing. Again, a lot of that is based on, I'm trying to think, having read a bunch of debates, or maybe not a bunch of debates, but a bunch of books by Stephen Jay Gould and E.O. Wilson, and citing that E.O. Wilson was smarter, or maybe not smarter, but at least seemed to be closer to what I would consider correct. But this was, of course, all trying to explain, why I feel that sociologists shouldn't feel as if they can discount what you might call a public intellectual, right? So, public intellectual is usually not. I mean, look at Douglas Hofstadter, right? I think that's right, Hofstadter. Or Richard Hofstadter. I'm trying to think. No, Eric Hoffer. Okay, that's enough public intellectuals from the 1950s. But people coming through and carefully analyzing phenomena, it's important. And it's not necessarily the case that the categories that a particular field finds useful are also the categories that are best for understanding something in public policy. And I showed that with a really simple example, right? And one that I think is sort of indubitable, right? I don't think somebody who's being fair thinks that biologists have any claim to telling fishermen what language to use. Period. I mean, I don't think that's an honest opinion. I think, you might think that because you're a smart biologist, but biologists don't have any claim to the language. They're biologists, right? They don't use the words every day. And, or they may use the words every day, but they'll use them in a way that's different from the way that regular people use them, human beings use them rather than scientists. I think it's useful to remember that scientists are a very small minority. And so even when you have a real science like biology, you can't really tell somebody to shut up necessarily because of what you think biology says about something. I mean, you can, but you're wrong to do it, right? That's a big way to show that you don't actually have an argument, right? You should be able to show a fisherman why he should call a whale cetacean something other than a fish, right? And if you can't do that, if you can't explain to him why it's useful for him to do so, then why should he listen to you? Right? Regular human beings own the language. Right? They outrank us, or outnumber us at least. So that's absolutely true for biologists. It is similarly going to be true for non-scientific disciplines like sociology. And I don't mind calling sociology not a scientific discipline because I've read their papers. And man, they are bad. Is it still up there? Okay. I don't see it, but I do have a book where people are doing game theory with different, tribes and stuff. So got a bunch of anthropologists and sociologists, doing this game theory stuff to try to figure out, how different kinds of people play, dictator games and things like that. So it's not uncommon sort of thing for some of these people to do. And man, these guys had really bad interpretations of what they were talking about, man. Oh, you should not let those guys anywhere near math. Seriously, man. Oh, God. But the only thing I'm saying here is that, and I think we can all agree, is that sociology is lower down on the scientific totem pole than biology. And biology has limits to how much it can require other people to believe its pronouncements. And then, therefore, so does sociology. But strangely enough, sociology seems to be less aware of the fact that they have limits on exactly what it is. That was not the most useful, but at least No bad scrolls at this point. I think the problem I have, though, is I'm on depth 7, I don't have any. None. No. Weapon. Not even like a normal axe or something like that. A normal rapier. I haven't seen a rapier for a while. It's a really good ring of light. I'm never going to need it because I don't have a weapon. So I'm not going to survive much longer, I don't think. Or I think we have found a reasonable place here. The first thing I want to say is that, again, sociology doesn't have a place to deny people opinions. It doesn't have that authority. Some academic disciplines might, right? Oops, bad me. All right, so let's see if I can get them to chase me. I was just saying that about language. Now I want to talk about actual opinions. And I think that, I mean, what's true about something simple like taxonomy is definitely true about anything where you're telling people what sort of opinions they should have about, what people should do. How people should act, what they should believe. And you might think, especially by listening to my commentary about Mark Blythe, that I have my doubts that everyone has a reasoned opinion. And the reason why I have these doubts for example, Mark Blythe, was because I don't think he's ever been wrong, and I don't think anybody who's never been wrong has ever been right. And you may have heard me say something like that before. Somebody, or at least somebody who's never believed that he's never been wrong, because in order to be correct about something, what the hell? God damn it. Apply. My hands off. What are you doing? Damn it. Ah, crap. You could have used that twice. Oh well. And I had extra charges if I needed them. Okay, so what have we gotten? All we've done is saying, well, if biologists, when they have their carefully constructed taxonomies, don't have the authority to tell a fisherman that a whale is not a fish, and they do not, because their authority does not extend to everyday language, then sociologists does not have the authority to tell a public intellectual, a reasoned human being, that they should not have an opinion about something that they decided to study. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second.